Hey friends, welcome to another episode of Synced Up Equipment Basics. My name is Kyle, and in today's video, we're going to be adding to our list of standard tosses. The one that we'll be going over today is a pole toss. As always, please make sure to like this video, subscribe to our channel, and make sure to hit that bell icon down below so you can stay up to date with any of our future posts. And with that taken care of, let's go ahead and learn our pole toss. So we're going to be throwing a pole toss today, and like the name describes, we're going to be throwing a toss from the pole. It's very similar to a J toss, it just doesn't have the same prep. So to start, we're going to stand in a solid second position as a good base. We're going to take our right hand and place it underneath the pole at the top tape in that money hand grab that we referenced in the J-Toss video at that top tape. And then the left hand is going to go on top of the silk about a third above the tab. And then I'm going to bring my pole to a hip-shoulder angle. This is similar to that grab position that we did in the J-Toss video. We're just going to go ahead and start here instead of doing the prep of the lift to get into this position. Again, my right hand is underneath at the first tape, left hand is over a third into the silk, and my flag is at a hip-shoulder angle currently. To start, similar to a pop toss, you're going to think about pushing and lifting. We have the left hand back on the pole now. When we did that J-toss, we were only using the right hand to get the toss out, but now we have our left hand back and we can use that energy to help us get this rotation out. So you're going to initiate by pushing that left hand down to feel the swing and the weight of the flag in the down space. Once you've passed this down space right here and the flag starts to lift back up, that's when you're going to send your right hand up into the air. Just a quick reminder, the left hand on this toss is going to be what decides the speed and rotation of the toss, while the right hand is going to establish the height. So you want to really make sure you push with a lot of energy to send that silk back up into the air, and then you lift up with your right hand until you get to that release point position. So we start at this hip shoulder angle, we push and lift to get up into our release points. The catch position of a pole toss is going to be pretty easy. You push to your release and you let go at this angle. It's going to rotate one full rotation around to where the silk comes back up, and then we're going to catch back in that right center position with my right hand thumb up towards the silk at the tab and my left hand thumb up towards the top of the flag in the middle of the silk, splitting the space in between the tab and the top crutch tip. So we start in that hip shoulder angle, we push to our release, it rotates one time in the air, and then we catch at our right center in the middle of our body. So now that we know the start and catch position of this toss, as well as how each hand contributes to the rotation and the height, all we have to do is put those ideas together. So a quick demo of this toss, I start at that right angle, make sure that your silk is not in line with the pole, you don't want to catch it on your way down. You push to your release, squeeze at that right center position. Notice that when I do this, something that you want to be aware of, when I'm starting in this position and I go to initiate my toss, I want to think about first pushing my left hand and then lifting my right hand. This is different from when we did a pop toss. When we did a pop toss, we talked about both of them happening at the same time. This is a little bit different because there's just a bit more weight on the other side of this right hand. So I want to first build up more momentum by using the swing of this down space before I lift up into the air. If I think about lifting and pushing at the same time with this new weight distribution, we see what happens. I'm losing my momentum. So you want to make sure you think a little bit about pushing the left hand and then pushing the right hand. Now be careful that you don't separate those ideas too much. You don't want it to be push, wait a few seconds, and then lift. They still happen pretty quickly close to each other, but it initiates with the left hand first and then goes up into the right hand. So one more quick demo of this toss. We go out, squeeze. When it comes to counting the rotation of a pole toss, it's the exact same approach as a J-toss. So if you remember, when we did a J-toss, we started in this position and lifted up to here before pulling into the release. We're pretty much in the same space for that pole toss, except we just now have that left hand helping us. So we start the initiation of the spin here, release with the silk up, and then one full rotation is going to be when the silk goes back up again to that catch. Again, if we catch silk down, that doesn't mean it's a wrong toss. You can catch single and a half rotated tosses. But for the basic approach to this toss, and we're just learning it right now, we want to just shoot for that single rotation, catching with the silk up one more time. So one more time, we go from this position, we release with that silk up, It'll rotate around once, and then we'll squeeze when that silk comes back into that vertical position. And then the last thing that I want to talk about is just a quick reminder to keep your body still underneath the toss itself. Really committing to keeping the feet planted and not letting the heels rise up as you release, and also committing to your free arms, making sure that they stay still until the very last second. We don't want to throw this toss and then move our hands around underneath it. We want to keep those hands still until the very last second when we go in for that catch. So that is the basic approach to putting a pole toss together. Just to recap what we talked about, we started with the starting position at that hip shoulder angle with the silk up and that left hand on top of the silk. We can now use that left hand to push into the release. We talked about how we feel the swing and then the lifts with the right hand after we push to get to the release point. We let it rotate once in the air, and then we catch back in that right center position with the silk up and the flag vertical in the center of our body. And then we also talked about how to count the rotation. It's the exact same approach as a J-toss, and then just a quick reminder of keeping our body still underneath the toss. So this was a pretty quick video, but the components of this toss are pretty straightforward, especially if we've reviewed the previous tosses on previous videos. Just make sure you take the time to practice this, so that way the differences between each of the tosses are a little bit more apparent and a little bit easier for you to master. Again, always please make sure that you're being safe with people around you and then with yourself as well. Anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. We keep adding more and more tosses to our repertoire, which is amazing and super exciting. I hope you guys have fun working on this pole toss, and I will see you on the next Synced Up Basics video. See you later.